Hello children and welcome back to our channel One Marks Solution. If you like our channel, please subscribe and like the videos to get further updates on all the videos that are going to be posted. All these videos here will discuss multiple choice questions from different chapters of the NCERT syllabus. Today, we are discussing part 2 of the chapter 3 questions. This chapter summary has already been given in the part 1 of this video. So those who have missed out on watching part 1, please do click on the link and watch part 1 to get the summary and also the MCQs that we have discussed in part 1. Now let us move on to discussing the MCQs of part 2. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel. I am, like I already told you, Mrs. Jabeen, teacher of Kendra Vidyalaya Bolaram, Telangana, and I will be discussing some more MCQs related to the chapter 3 questions written by Leo Tolstoy. To watch further explanations, you can click on the link and get yourself acquainted with the chapter. Let us move on to the question answers. We have done 13 questions in the first video related to this chapter. So here we are with question number 14. The 14th question. Why did the bearded man swear revenge on the king? The king had put his brother to death and seized his property. The king had put his brother to death. The king had put his wife to death. The king had seized his property. Now, like I told you in the first video, while the king was with the hermit, a bearded man came running towards the hermit and the king. Now, this bearded man was bleeding. He was also an enemy of the king. The king was not aware of this fact, but he did help the bearded man. All right. It was only later that he came to know that the bearded man was his enemy and had sworn to take revenge. Now, he had sworn to take revenge because the king had put his brother to death and had also seized his property. That was the reason that the bearded man wanted revenge. So option A is the right option. The king had put his brother to death and seized his property. Moving on to question number 15. What was the hermit doing when the king reached there? Now, I told you that the hermit was a unique person. He did not meet kings and wealthy people. So the king had dressed up as a commoner, a simple man, to go and seek the advice of the hermit. Now, when the king reached there, the hermit was busy doing some work. Okay. Now, here we are given 4 options. Option A, digging the ground. Option B, watering plants. Option C, eating food. And option D, cooking food. Now, the right option here is option A. He was digging the ground. The hermit was a fairly old man and he was digging the ground. He was preparing flower beds. He wanted to sow some seeds and plant some plants there. So he was digging the ground. That is the right option. So let us move on to question number 16. Here comes someone running. Who said this line? The priest, the bodyguard, the hermit, or the king? Now, this line was told by the hermit. The king wanted to know the answers to the 3 questions. He was very much in a hurry. He did not want his time wasted. He wanted to go away quickly. So he wanted to just get the answers and go away. While he was talking to the hermit, they see this bearded man running and coming. So this line is spoken by the hermit. Question number 17. This is a vocabulary question. What is the meaning of seize? We saw in a previous question that the king had seized the property of the bearded man. So what is the meaning of seize? Is it donate, give something, take easily, or overpower by force? The option D here is the correct option. It is overpower by force or take something away by force. That is known as seize. So option D is the right one. There. Question number 18. The king dressed the wounds of his guard, the horse, the hermit, or the bearded man. Now, what do you mean by dressing the wounds off? Dressing the wound means to clean the wound. A wound is an injury. When you get hurt and you bleed, that is an injury. So when you're dressing the wounds, you are cleaning the wounds. Okay, so the king dressed the wounds off. Option D is the right answer here, the bearded man. Like I told you earlier, when the bearded man came running, he was bleeding. Blood was flowing from his body. So the king dressed the wounds of the bearded man. Let us move on to the next question. The king promised to send dash to the wounded man. His own doctor and servants, his soldiers, his own doctor, his servants. Now, this happens when the king helps the wounded man, dresses his wounds, and he falls asleep. Even the wounded man falls asleep. The next morning, the wounded man wakes up and asks the king to forgive him because he had come there to take revenge on the king. He had come there to kill the king, but the king had saved his life. So when the king came to know this, he felt happy that he had got a friend. And so he promised to send his own doctor and servants to the wounded man. So option A is the right option. He promised to send his own doctor and servants to help the wounded man get well. And he also promised to return the wounded man's property. Okay, these things the king did to show that he had forgiven the wounded man. Now, let us look at question number 20. The bearded man was the A, relative of the king, B, king's sworn enemy, C, friend of the king, and D, guard of the king. Now, this answer I need not explain because we have already discussed this ample times. So, option B is the correct answer. He was the king's enemy. He had decided to kill the king because the king had killed his brother and taken away his property. Okay, so option B is the right option. Moving on, question number 21. The bearded man asked for dash next morning. Forgiveness, property, money, or water. Now this also I discussed in this previous slide. When the bearded man realized that the king had saved his life, when he had come to kill the king, he understood his mistake and he asked for the king's forgiveness. So option A is the right answer. There. Question number 22. According to the hermit, who is the most important person? Now, this was one question that the king had. Who is the most important person for him? Or who should he listen to? Okay, so the options that you have here are the person you were with an hour ago, the person you are helping, the person you are with at a particular moment, or the person you love. So after the king helps the wounded man, the hermit explains who the most important person is. According to him, the person you are with at a particular moment is the most important person because you can only do good or help that particular person only. So the person you are with at a particular moment deserves all your time and attention. So option C is the right answer. Now question number 23. According to the hermit, which is the most important time? This was the second question that the king had. What or which was the time, the most important time to begin something new? So There are four options again given here: present, past, all of the above, or future. Now, this also the hermit explains to the king, saying that the present time, option A, the time we are in at the present is the most important because that is the only time we have the power to do something. We cannot change our past, we cannot see into our future. So the only thing we can do, or only time we can do anything, is in the present. So the present is the most important time. So option A is the right answer. Then, question number 24. The most important business is to, or the most important work a person has to do is to chair the meeting, to do charity, to do good to others, or to make money. Now, this also the hermit explains as saying that the most important business is to do good to others. The hermit explains to the king that we are born to do good to others. That is the most important thing we have to do. So, option C is the right answer. Then, question number 25. The king was happy that his enemy had wounded the hermit. His action had pleased the hermit. He had killed his enemy. He had won a friend. So here the right option, like I already told you, is that he had won a friend. He did not know that the wounded man was his enemy, but as a human being, he had helped the wounded man to get well. And that action had changed that enemy to a friend. So he was happy that he had won a friend. Then, question number 26. The answers of the hermit amused the king, satisfied the king, confused the king, or failed to satisfy the king. Now, this also is a simple answer. The answers of the hermit satisfied the king. The king was not satisfied with the answers of the wise men he had received, and so he had not given them any reward. He had promised a sum of money, but he did not give it to any of the wise men. But when he came to the hermit and the hermit explained the answers to him, the king was satisfied. He was happy with the answers. So, with this, we come to an end of part 2 of this series of the 3 questions. I hope you're finding this video useful, and if you like the video, please do subscribe to the channel and follow the channel. You will keep getting more updates about new videos that are posted. And here I would also like to thank Ziet Chandigarh for the material provided to help make this presentation. Thank you, children. See you again in the next session.